Today's video is going to be a follow-up to the previous one I uploaded where I showed you how to work with custom post types, advanced custom fields, and how you can also build your custom page templates with WordPress. Today, I'm doing the same thing except now with Elementor, and we're going to make use of a particular plugin called Pods, very popular. And with Pods, I'm going to show you how we can create a custom post type. In this case, it's going to be recipes. Let me just quickly show you. I do have 3 different recipes, chicken salad, chocolate, and chorba de legume. So I'll show you how we can create this particular custom post type. And in fact, each custom post type also has 4 custom fields. We have the prep time, the cook time, a gallery field, and also the directions field. So I'll show you how you can create these using the Pods plugin. Now, the second plugin we're going to be using would be the Pods Fields plugin provided by Dynamic Content. And the thing is, you don't actually have to use this plugin because in this lesson, I'm going to show you 2 alternatives. You can either use the widgets provided by Elementor Pro, or you use those provided by Dynamic Content. So I'm going to give you 2 different alternatives. I'm mentioning this particular plugin because it offers you more options than the ones provided by Elementor Pro, and you will see why when you watch the video. So by the way, this particular plugin is by Dynamic 000. You may have heard of them. They make some of the most sophisticated and advanced widgets for Elementor. I am going to be spending plenty of time talking about them and their widgets because they are really fantastic. So you can consider this to be like a start or an introduction to Dynamic 000. So if you're interested in videos like this, please be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so that you're notified whenever I upload the new tutorials. So let me just give you a quick walkthrough. We're going to create the custom post type recipes, custom taxonomy of classes, by the way. Let me quickly show you that. So each recipe would have a particular class, and by classes I mean appetizer, dessert, and main course. So a custom taxonomy. Now we're going to create a page specifically called recipes, so that when you view that particular page, you will see all the recipes at a glance. You can see right now we have chocolate, chicken salad, and chorba de legume. I will then show you how you can create a custom page template specifically for the single recipes. So in this case, if I clicked on chorba de legume, it will now take me to the page for chorba de legume where we have the title, the featured image, and now you can see the custom fields of the custom taxonomy main course, the prep time, the cook time, the gallery, and then also the direction. So all these custom fields appearing right there on the page. Now this is exactly what I'm going to show you how to create in today's video. So by the way, let me just quickly mention that I am an affiliate for Dynamic 000. So by taking this lesson, if you feel compelled to buy their plugin because it is a paid plugin, please do use my affiliate link in the box below. What that means is that if you buy the plugin with my link, I'll get a small commission. And it's a great way to support me and support what I'm doing here on this channel. So with that being said, let's get started. The first thing we're going to do will be to create our custom post type of recipes, and we're also going to create the custom taxonomy of classes. So right down here, once you've installed your Pods plugin, you'll see the Pods admin link right here. Click on add new, and we're going to go ahead now to create new. And so right here, we're creating a custom post type like posts, except right now we're going to with recipe, and then the plot label will be recipes. Let's go ahead to click on next step. And there you go. So now we can add our custom fields, and we're going to add 4 of them. So to add the first one, we're going to click on add field right here. And let's go ahead with the very first one here of prep time. So how much time will it take to prepare to cook the food? So down here, when you click on name, automatically the plugin will create the name directly from the label, so you don't need to change anything in here. You can add a description if you want, but it's not necessary. Now, right here, field type, I could actually go with the plain number as a field because I could say 20 for 20. I could say 15 for 15 and so on. But I'm going to go with plain text. So instead of using numbers, we're actually going to use letters. So I've gone with plain text, and then right here you have access to additional field options like you can allow shortcodes if you want to. You can add a maximum length. You could even add a placeholder if you wanted to. And then under advanced, you can do things like add CSS classes or restrict access only to admins. We're not doing any of that. I'm just going to go ahead now to click save field. And there it is. Let's go ahead now and add the next one, which is going to be the cook time, which will be the actual time it takes to cook the food. And once again, plain text. I'll just go ahead and now save my field. And now let's add a different field now for the gallery. We want to show different images of the food. So right here, we're going to go with gallery for the name and label. And then field type, check this out. I'm going to go over here to relationships media. And I'm going to choose file, image, video. Now, this is very, very important. You want to go to your additional field options. And then right here, change upload limits to multiple files. Because it's a gallery, it's not just one image. And then down here, if you wanted to, for security reasons, you could restrict file types to maybe only JPEGs or only PNGs. It's all up to you, but the default here should be just fine. And there it is. Under advanced, you have access to the same options. You can add CSS classes, restrict access to admins, and so on. Let's go ahead now to save the field. And then the last field we're going to add would be the directions, how to actually prepare the food. And then right here, we're going to go with the WYSIWYG visual editor. And there it is. I'm going to go ahead now, save the field. And we're going to go ahead now to save the pod. And there it is. Okay, so we've added the 4 custom fields to our custom post type of recipes. And of course, right now you can see we have access to recipes. However, there is one more thing we should do, and that is to go over here to the advanced options. And then right here where you have enable archive page, you want to enable it. Because what we want to do is we want to create a page called recipes. And then when people click on that page, or rather on that link, it will take them to a page where all recipes are listed out. Kind of like your blog page with your WordPress posts. Now, in addition to this, down here, we also want to support a featured image as well as excerpt for our custom post type of recipes. All right. And there it is. I'm going to go ahead now to save the pod. And voila. Now let's create the custom taxonomy of classes for our recipes. So I'm going to go back to the pods admin, click on add new. We're going to go ahead to click create new. And then right here, we're switching now to custom taxonomy like categories or tags. And we'll call this one class and we'll call this one classes. Click on next step. We're not adding any custom fields. However, right here under the advanced options, we want to indicate that, hey, this particular taxonomy is for recipes. So down here, you will see recipes, associated post types, recipes. Let's go ahead now to save the pod. And voila. So with that being done, if we go over to recipes, now you can see we have access to classes. Let's go ahead now and add some classes. So the first one here is going to be the appetizer. Add new class, and then next would be let's call it main course. And then the last class would be my favorite, dessert. Let's add the class, and there it is. Okay, now we can go ahead to add our recipes. So I'm going to go ahead to add new, and the first one here is going to be the ciorba de legume. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And of course, the class here is going to be the main course featured image. I already have the featured image right here. I'm going to set the featured image. And then for the actual directions and main content, I'm just going to use some lorem ipsum. So let me just grab this right here. Actually, let me grab a little bit more. So let's grab this. And then we're going to come down here to where you have your directions. And we can paste all that in there. And we could also maybe just grab the first paragraph in here. Let's Control C. Let me do that again. Highlight, Control C. And then I'm going to come up here just for the main content, add that one. And then we can also just grab 3 lines in here, copy, and then we can paste that for the excerpt. Okay, what else do we have? We have now the custom fields of prep time. So prep time in here, we're going to go with 15 minutes. And then the actual cook time will be 45 minutes. 45 minutes. And there it is. And then last but not least, we do have the gallery. Let's click on add file. Go to the media library, and I do have some more images in here. Add the file. And there it is. I'm going to go ahead now to publish the recipe. Now we could actually view the recipe, and what we'll see is the title, the featured image, as well as the content, because these are the ones naturally supported by WordPress. Before we move on to creating the archive page as well as the single post page for our recipes, I'm going to go ahead to add 2 more recipes. So I'll pause the video right now and resume once I'm done. Welcome back, and as you can see, I've added 2 more recipes for chocolate, which is of course a dessert, and chicken salad, which is going to be an appetizer. Now we're going to go ahead to create a page called recipes that we can use to display our recipes at a glance. But before we do that, let me show you very quickly. I have installed and activated the dynamic content for Elementor plugin, which is a paid plugin. Don't worry, I'm going to show you how you can work without this plugin. But in case you're working with the plugin, you will have the link right here, dynamic content. You go over to features, and let me show you what I've done. I've deactivated all widgets. However, I have activated 3. Right here on the dynamic, I've activated the dynamic posts widget. And then down here on the pods, I have pods fields and pods gallery widgets active. Okay, let's go now to pages. Let's add a new page. And of course, we're going to call this page recipes. Okay, let's now edit with Elementor. And to display the recipes, you have 2 options. Okay, you can either go with the default posts widget by Elementor, which you'll find under the pro section. So right here, you simply drag in posts, you drop it in there, and then of course you come down here to where you have query on the content, and then simply switch from posts to recipes. And there it is. Of course, on the layout, you can do things like customize the size of the images, number of columns, and then down here under metadata, you can choose to hide comments, display, date modify, time, and so on. But there are some limitations with this particular widget, and that's the fact that you cannot display the custom fields. You can't even display the custom taxonomy that we created. So on the chocolate, for example, we don't see dessert. On the chicken salad, we don't see appetizer. And on the chorba de legume, we don't see main course. So that is the main limitation with the posts widget by Elementor Pro. However, with the dynamic content or dynamic posts widget by dynamic content down here, which you can see, we don't have that limitation. So let me show you the power of this widget. I'm going to click drag, drop that in there. And right here, we're going to go over to query. And of course, right under post type, we're going to go with recipes. And let's wait for a few seconds for it to load, and there it is. So right now, that is your recipes right there. And yes, I know it looks rougher than the posts by Elementor, but of course we can spend time to clean this up. Let me show you a few more things. So right here where you have items, you click in there, and this is where you can choose to display or hide certain kinds of fields. So we have image, which will be the featured image. We're going to keep that. The date, we can keep the date as well. Title, we'll keep the title. And then right here you have terms of taxonomy. That's why you can now see things like dessert, appetizer, main course. So we're going to keep that one as well. Now for author, we don't need the author. So I'm going to click on author, and then right here, I'm going to hide the author. And then custom meta fields, we're not working with those. We'll just keep that as it is. And then read more, okay, we'll keep the read more button. And then last but not least, the post type, you can see it says recipes down here, recipes. We don't need to show that, so I'm going to go ahead to hide that. Now the thing is, for each and every one of these fields, you can actually click inside and you will have access to a lot more options on how to customize the way the images would look like. For example, you can set a background image, you can go over to style and do things like the alignment, padding, and so on. And that's basically how that works. You of course also have access to the way you want to display your recipes. So you have flex, you have masonry, and then you have blog, and then you can choose the number of columns and so on. You have access to other things like the hover effect, the query filter, and so on and so forth. So you can see with dynamic posts is a bit more powerful than the posts widget provided by Elementor Pro. So let me just mention one last thing. When it comes to the actual images, If you're having issues like this where one image is taller than the other, it's best you just crop the images to a certain width and height before you upload them. That will be the easiest way for you to deal with these kinds of issues. I did not crop the chocolate image in here, for example. It's very, very tall, and the other two ones are a lot shorter. That's why we do have this disproportion. But like I said, the best way to solve this issue would just be to simply crop your images before you upload them. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead now to publish the page. And there it is. Let's just have a look for our recipes page, and there it is. Okay, let's move on to now the main topic, which is going to be the single post for our recipes. So I'm going to go back to the back end. We're going to jump down here to templates. Let's click on add new template, and right here we're going to go with the single post. All right, and we could call this one single recipe. Let's create our template. And okay, so the first thing is, well, we're not dealing with any blocks in here, so let me close this. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to jump down here to the settings, and we're going to switch the preview settings. We're going to choose dynamic content in here as recipe, and we're going to go with the ciorba de legume, so we can use this one as our preview. So let's apply and preview. And okay, so on the single, we're going to go with the post title, obviously, first of all. So we have ciorba de legume. Let's go back in here. We're going to grab the featured image as well. And I'll just go with the full size. And okay, pretty standard stuff. Now let's begin to display the custom fields. So I'm going to go back in here. Now the thing is, if you're not working with dynamic content for Elementor, what you can simply do is down here where you have a heading, you could use the heading tag in here. So I'm going to drag heading. I'll drop that right there. And then where you have the actual field for the title, you click on dynamic tags in here. And then right down here, you will see the one for the pods. So we're going to go with the pods field. All right, let's choose that one. And then we're going to click inside of the pods field. Right here where you have key, you click in there. And now we're going to go with the prep time. All right, so prep time. So you can see right now it says 15 minutes. But one thing we could do is, if you click back inside, you go over here to advanced, you will have the ability to add text before and then after. So right here where it says before, we will just say prep time. And we can just add a semicolon right there. Okay, so there it is, 15 minutes. Okay, we're going to go back to title, and what I'm going to do is I'll just make this one an H4 so it's not too big. Let's go ahead now and add the next field, which will of course be the cook time. So heading once again, let's drop that in there. Go back to dynamic tags, scroll down here to pods field, click inside, go to key, go to cook time, go to advanced, go to before. I'm going to say cook time, and then colon, and then some space right there. So cook time is 45 minutes. Let's go back to title, make this one an H4, and there it is. Okay, the last field we're going to display right now would be the directions. So we're going to go back in here, and what we could do is we could make use of the text editor. So let's drop that right underneath the cook time. And again, as usual, I'm going to go to dynamic tags, scroll all the way down here, go to pods field, click inside, go to key, choose directions, and there it is. Okay, I could even add, actually we could add a heading just above directions and just call that one directions. Okay, and there it is. All right, now if you wanted to customize the appearance of this, let me just show you a very, very quick trick just in case you're not aware. Right here for 15 minutes, I'm going to click in there. All right, I'm going to go over to advanced, and then right here where you have position, we can switch from default to inline. Let's do the same thing for 45 minutes as well. So I'm going to go over to advanced, go to position, go to width, and we can make that one inline as well. And then to create some space, I'm just going to go over here to advanced under the cook time 45 minutes heading. And then we can add some padding. Let me just first of all unlink the values. So padding right here, we can just add padding left. And then we can maybe give that one 20 pixels. So now you can see we have some space between the prep time and the cook time. I almost forgot, we do have one more field to display, which will be the gallery field. I very nearly forgot about that. And to display it, we're just going to make use of the gallery field right down here under our pro. So we have the gallery field right here. Click, drag, and let's drop that just between the prep time, cook time, and direction. So right there, we're going to go over to the dynamic tags right here. Click inside, go to the pods gallery field, click inside, go to key, and then we'll just choose gallery and wait for a few seconds, and there you go. So that's the gallery for Ciorba de Legume, and there it is. By the way, if you want to display also the custom taxonomy, what you can do is you can go back in here and you simply come down to choose the post info. So let's do that just above the featured image. So I'm going to drag the post info widget right there. And let's remove author, let's remove date, we'll keep time, let's remove comments. So to add the custom taxonomy, simply go to add item, and then right here where you have type, you simply go with terms, and then under taxonomy you simply choose the classes, and there you go. So now you can see main course showing up, and that's pretty much how you can create the template for your single recipes. I'm going to show you the final steps to actually publish the page and ensure that it shows up on all your single recipes. But before we do that, let me show you what you can actually do with the dynamic content version. So down here, I'm going to show you, let's come all the way down here. So instead of using the prep time, cook time, let's just go ahead and remove all of this. All right, let me remove this one, remove the field as well, remove directions. Okay, all right. So right here, Ciorba de Legume, the custom taxonomy and featured image are pretty standard. Now, if you wanted to display the cook time and prep time with dynamic content, down here, you see we have access to the pods fields. So I'm going to click, drag, drop pods field in here, and very easily on the fields list, I'm going to go with the prep time. And now in here, with the fields type is of course text, so we'll keep that as it is. And then for settings, right here text before, again, I'm just going to say prep time, colon, and there it is. And then of course we can choose the alignment if you want to and so on. We'll just keep that. Go back here again, scroll down, add the pods field one more time. And now this time we're going with the cook time. So settings again, text before, I'm going to say cook time, semicolon, and then some space, so 45 minutes. And of course, as you can imagine, for the gallery, we're simply going to scroll down in here, choose the pods gallery widget, go to pods field, and now choose the gallery. And the main difference right now is that with this particular widget, you have access to a lot more options. So right here, you can go to gallery, you can choose a gallery type, whether it's going to be a row or even like a single image or grid and so on. You can choose items per row. We're going to go with 3. And you can even enable animation. So you enable animation, and then right here you see we have animation. And of course you can choose the kind of animation you want, choose the delay. And then under images itself, you can of course add a description if you want to. You can choose the image size as well. And then of course, the images by default will open up in a light box. So you can see you have access to a lot more options with the pods gallery widget. And then let's go back in here to display the directions. So I'm going to go with pods field again, drop that in there, go to fields list, right down here, directions, and there you go. That's pretty much how you would use the dynamic content pods fields widgets for our recipes. And there it is. Okay, I'm going to go ahead now to hit publish. And then right here, very important, you want to go to add condition. And then right here, under all singular, you're simply going to come down here, you're going to choose recipes. And there it is. I'm going to go ahead now to save and close. And there it is. So now if we go to the back end and we go ahead to view one of our recipes, let's go to recipes, all recipes. And then right here, we have the Ciorba de Legume. We can go ahead now to view that. And there it is. So we have our title, all the usual prep time, the featured image, the gallery, and of course the directions. And yes, I know that this doesn't look all that great, but of course you can spend as much time as you want to fully customize the look and layout of your template. In closing, I've made a few changes to make the page a bit more presentable. So I aligned the title to the center, and then right here I switched or moved the taxonomy main course down here, and then the prep time, cook time, made all of them are in line. Also added the necessary padding, and then to align them to the center, what I simply did was to edit the column holding them, and then right here I made the horizontal align to center. And then for the images in the gallery, I simply applied a custom size. So I went down to images, and then right here I chose image size to custom, and then just made the height 650. They look a bit blurred, but that's again because the images were not cropped properly before I uploaded them. And then finally I simply made the directions. I added the title directions and added some margin as well, added some space between the gallery field and the directions field, and that's pretty much it. One other template you might consider building would be the archives template specifically for your custom post type. So you simply go to Elementor, and then right here you would go with archive, all right? And then you can call this one the recipe archive as an example. Let's create a template, and then from here we'll just simply add the necessary fields, which would be right here. You'll have the archive title, so we can drop that one in there, and then you can just drop the archive posts there as well. Let's come down here to settings, go to preview, choose the recipes archive, apply and preview, and there it is. That's going to be the archive page specifically for recipes, and then you simply hit publish, and then right here you add the condition, all archives, but then down here you want to go with the recipes archive, and then you simply save and close, and that's how you would create the template for your custom post types archives. So there it is. We've come to the end of today's video where I showed you how to use the pods plugin to create a custom post type of recipes, and also how you can display all the custom fields on the recipes page, and also how to create a single page specifically for your single recipes. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. Share the video with anyone who may feel might benefit from it, and of course if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe and hit that bell so that you're notified whenever I upload a new tutorial. Just a gentle reminder, if you want to go ahead to buy the post fills plugin by Dynamic Content, you will have my affiliate link in the box below. Questions, comments, put them down in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer them as soon as I can. Thank you so much. My name is Alex. Stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you next time. Cheers.